Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sammy Ketchum, and welcome back to Sammy Ketchum TCG. Um, Today I'm going to be doing a deck profile. This is part of the Unified Minds series that I'm doing here with the decks. The Unified Minds deck I'm doing today is an updated version of Green's Reshizard. In my opinion, right now, Green's Reshizard is probably the best Reshizard build. One reason I say that is because we lose Kiawe with the rotation. Kiawe was basically really a big factor in getting Reshizard or one of your Pokemon powered up, in the early game before you could use Welder, things like that. It really helped just push and propel the deck forward. With the loss of that, the Volcanium from the previous set basically becomes the front runner. Basically, what it means it means that you have to go second and use Volcanium's attack to attach 3 energies to one of your bench Pokemon. It is so that becomes a big help. Other than that, it's just kind of like, it's like the deck kind of just falls apart, even with the other Reshizard build, with the Jirachi engine, I'm like, what you want to kind of do, in the beginning, like if you go first, and if you get out Jirachi, if you go Jirachi, Stellar Wish, do you play Welder on that first turn, or do you, what do you do, the reason why I say this is because that second turn, after you Welder the first time, guess what, you're going to want to Welder again in order to get 3 more energies on a Reshizard to use a GX attack, if you want to use that. Getting an energy on Reshizard doing 230, that's okay, that's good. If you can take out a basic GX, like something that's maybe like 210 or 170 or something, maybe you can find a way to get counter catchers and counter catcher up a 0 or a GX or something, or I don't know. That seems doable, but what you really want to do, you really want to KO tag teams. You want to KO the tag teams, and that's a big thing. Reshizard's GX attack can do that, but you only have that one GX attack. After that, you really can't KO a tag team. So, let's jump into this deck profile, and I'll talk a little bit more about the strategies and what's going on, and what I think about this build and what can improve on it. Maybe I might talk about some matchups. Alright, let's get into this. Yeah, there we go. A little bit like there. Alright, there we go. Alright. First off, we have ourselves 3 Reshizard. Alright, Reshizard basically is the main attacker of this deck. The first attack for 2 energies, Outrage, which is really good. It basically is 30 damage base, but any damage that he takes, it does that damage plus 30 more. So if he takes 180 from an attack, his outrage will do 210. If he takes 150 from a full blitz, his outrage will do 180. I mean, and so on. Whatever damage he takes will be implied by 30 more. You know, which is very good. So, you know, even though he has that, you know, he pretty much is going to get knocked out the next turn. But, you know, but by that time that has happened, you know, he has served his purpose. Well, this one has served his purpose. The next attack for 4 energies will 3 fire, 1 colorless, flare strike. It does 230 damage. 230 damage. That's a lot of damage. That can knock out Zero Aura GX. That can knock out the Denes, things like that. You know, the one thing it can't knock out a Pikarom anymore. So I don't know whether you play some type of damage modifiers or basically hit the Pikarom or, you know, to get 1 damage on it or something, or maybe you just don't, you know, maybe you just try to find other ways of knocking him out, you know, because Flare Strike can't anymore. And Picarom's going to be one of the big decks going into Worlds. So, but 230 is big damage. You can definitely knock out some Pokemon with that. When talking about this attack, one thing you can do is you can basically use Custom Catcher and bring up one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has like less than 230, and, you know, of course, knock them out. With this deck, with the green search deck, you can search out Custom Catchers, which is very good. You know, that is definitely an option if you can't knock out Pikarom, or if you can't knock out their big GX Pokemon with 230. You know, the GX attack on here, which is the GX attack you want to use, for 3 energy, it does 200. And if it has 3 more energies attached to it, it does another 100 damage. And you ignore effects. You ignore all the effects on your opponent's Pokemon. So if they sit there and use something like Whimsicott, if Whimsicott basically, you know, if Whimsicott flips a coin and gets heads, this ignores that effect, you know. So any effects on the Pokemon. So this GX attack is very good. Very good against your opponent who uses effects that'll stop GXs from attacking. This could break through that because it's an effect on the Pokemon. It's the effect of the attack, or the effect on the Pokemon. Saying, oh, the effect of this attack is saying you can't attack. This breaks that. This attack breaks that. You know, this GX attack with the extra 100, you know, one-shots a Pikarom. It basically one-shots all the GXs, which is very good, which is what you will want. Let's see, let's do over there. Okay. All right, next up, we have ourselves 4 copies of Volcanium. Volcanium is very good with its first attack. And what it does is that if you're going second, instead of attaching 1 energy to one of your bench Pokemon from your deck, you attach 3. This basically starts the acceleration off, which is really, really good. I'm going to tell you right now, this deck will basically always go second. If this deck wins the coin flip, it's going second no matter what. It's going second no matter what. Just because of this attack, it is going second. Like you do not want to go first with this deck. I just, I've been playtesting and I've been trying it. Like, I went trying to go first, and it was just hard. It was just really hard. Like, the choices I had to make, the things I had to do, it was just really, really hard. I just could not go first. And it was just bad. It was just terrible. You know? I mean, there were some plays that I made that were really good, but, like, it just was not good. But going second, getting this off is just great. The second attack is not bad at all. For 2 fire energies, it is 50 base. If you have 4 or more fire energies in play, this attack does 60 more damage. So it can shoot for 110. So it can knock out a Zapdos. Or maybe, maybe put you in range to two-shot something. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. But really, you just want to get this first attack off. And once you get that off, you're off to the races. You're off to the races. I have 1 copy of Turtonator in here from Dragon Majesty. This card, I love this card because this card is a basic Pokemon. It's a non-GX, and it has the potential to knock out tag teams. If you have enough energy in play and you power this thing up, you go Welder, attach for the turn, and you have a bench Reshizard with energies on it, and they have out a tag team, you can knock out their tag team. Or you could counter catcher, bring up their tag team, knock it out. 5 energies. 5 energies knocks out a Pikarom. 6 energies knocks out every other tag team, which is very good. Honestly, I want to stick in another Turtonator in this deck just so I can find them. Another Turtonator, and maybe yes, another Turtonator, because this card can surprise. This card can surprise people. This is definitely one of the ways that we can basically get over knocking out big Pokemon in this deck. And I love it. I love it right now. This is my special little attack right now. We have ourselves the supporter of the deck, Green's Exploration. Alright, basically what this does is if you have no Pokemon with abilities in play, well, which this deck doesn't have any abilities, you can search your deck for 2 items. 2 trainers, and add them to your hand. So you can search for, trainers are basically just about everything in your deck. You can search for Welder. You can search for Fiery Flint. You can search for Custom Catcher. You can search for Reset Stamp. You can search for Mixed Herbs. You can search for Heat Factory. You can search for Stadiums, because the top card of the top left corner that says Trainer. Anything that says Trainer on it, you can get with Green Search. This is this makes this deck busted. This really makes this deck busted and versatile. I can't even say more about this. This is just really, really good. You know, like some turns basically you would only want the greens if you have enough energies in play. You know. We have ourselves 4 copies of Welder. These, like Welder and Green Search, those are the only supporters we play in this deck. The only supporters. That's crazy, right? But it's good. But it's very good. You know, Welder, what it does is that you can attach 2 energies from your hand to one of your Pokemon and draw 3 cards. Or 2 fire energies. This is very good fire acceleration and draw. It is just busted. It can get Reshizard powered up. It can get Turtonator powered up in this deck. So I mean, it is just insanely good. I can't rave enough about this card. This card is good. It's so good to the point that people are thinking about other decks to basically make engines out of Welder. You know, so you know, that's how good this card is. We have ourselves 4 copies of Pokegear 2.0. What Pokegear does is that you can look at the top 7 cards of your deck and search for a supporter. So this helps us find Welder. This helps us find Green Search. You know, finding them is key in this deck. Don't get me wrong, like it won't work all the time because, you know, you only have 8 supporters in this deck. So, I mean, you know, you won't get it every time, but this definitely helps boost your chance of finding your supporters that you need. You know, it's very important in this deck. Alright, we have ourselves 4 copies of Cherish Ball. Cherish Ball is from Unified Minds, this card is really good for GX Pokemon. What it does, you search your deck for a GX Pokemon and add it to your hand. Simple as that. It is so good. Basically, it's like Nest Ball, but for GX Pokemon. You know, and in this deck, this is played in 4s. You know, well, honestly, this deck only has 3 GXs in it. So technically, I could take out one of these and go 3 because I only have 3. You know, but I'm playing 4 so I can have the consistency of drawing it when I need to. You know, but this is just so good for GX Search. And I think this is why most decks will be playing basic GXs or GXs in general from now on. You know, just because you can just easily search out your GXs, which is just very good. Alright, we have ourselves 4 copies of Custom Catcher. Custom Catcher has 2 effects. It basically says if you do the first effect, if you play one, then you can draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand, if your hand is really low. Alright, and then the second part of this is that if you play 2, then you can choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and bring them to the active, which is very good. This deck can take advantage of this card because you have Green Search. If you have one copy in your hand, you can use Green Search to get the other copy, and then you have two. Or you could play Green Search and just go get both of them at the same time, which is a great option, you know. So you know, this is very good in this deck. Even though you only have 2 times you could do this, you know, it is still game breaking. It is still good. We have ourselves 4 copies of mixed herbs. Before I added these mixed herbs in, I had great potions in here, and I was testing great potions. And honestly, I did like the great potions, but I think I like the mixed herbs more because with one, if you play one, you can heal a status condition from your active Pokemon. If you play 2, you heal 90 damage and all status conditions. The reason why I kind of like mixed herbs more, because status conditions actually kind of stick a little harder in this new format. Speaking of status conditions, Choo Choo GX's first attack does 80, and then it does 80 more and can paralyze your Pokemon if it comes from the bench. This can get rid of that paralyzation, you know. And then if you play 2, you can also heal that. Of course, with Green Search, you can search out both of them. Or if you have one in your hand, you can search out one of them and get something else, which is very good. So this is another card Green Search can search out, which is very good. We have ourselves 3 copies of Fire Crystal. What Fire Crystal does is that you can basically put 3 fire energies from your discard pile into your hand. So if your fire energies get discarded, if you play Heat Factory, discard an energy, draw 3 cards. You know, you can get back that energy or energies from your discard pile. If you discard your energies with Fiery Flint, you can get them back. You know, just getting back the energies from your discard pile is very, very good. Also, you can get energies back from your discard pile, put them in your hand, and then take those same energies and play Welder and attach them to your Pokemon. So, you know, very busted card. Also, Green Search can also search this out. Not Green Search, Green's Exploration can search this out. We have ourselves 3 copies of Switch. I did have 2 copies of Switch in here before, but I upped it to 3 because switching your active Pokemon is important in this deck with Reshizard, with its 230 attack, you know, which is Flare Strike. You know, switching is very important, you know, so you want to do that. Also, switching out to another attacker is also very, very good. So, I mean, I just find three switch useful. And sometimes I've been wanting a 3rd switch, so I added a 3rd switch. Basically, switch, what it does, you just switch out your active with one of your bench Pokemon. It's simple. It's not rocket science. Oh, also Green Search can search this out. Green's Exploration. Oh, sorry guys, I keep calling it Green Search. Alright, 2 copies of Fiery Flint. I like Fiery Flint over the Giant Furnace. For the simple fact that I can find 4 energies instead of 2. Sometimes I want to do more in a turn other than just going Welder attached to. Sometimes I may have out Heat Factory and I may want to discard a fire energy for Heat Factory. And see, another thing that I also want to do is that if I get 4 energies with this, I can attach 2 with Welder. I have 1 energy that I have not attached for the turn, so I'll attach an energy for the turn, that's 3. And then if I have our Heat Factory, I can go Heat Factory, draw 3 more cards. So that's a combo within itself. I like this so much because I have, you know, energies left in my hand that I could do something with. Maybe I could save them for the next turn, for another Welder next turn, or, you know, maybe I could do the combo basically that I just said. Welder, Heat Factory, attach for the turn. Boom, there you go. You know, I like this so much more than a Giant Furnace right now. You know, even though you get Giant Furnace, you get to activate Giant Furnace every turn, I can honestly say stadiums won't stay out too long because you're going to have the stadium wars with just about every single deck, you know, replacing your stadiums. So, I mean, you may get it off once, you may get it off twice, but, I mean, I would rather have this right now. Going on down the line, I may change that and may go Giant Furnaces because, I mean, Stadium Wars are a thing, you know. I mean, and honestly, another reason why I kind of like this is like, I don't see, right now, I don't see any stadium that kind of hurts this deck. Let's see, what's that called? Power Plant? Power Plant doesn't hurt this deck because this deck doesn't have any GX abilities. Lysander's Labs does not hurt this deck because we don't have any Pokemon tool cards. You know, I mean just stuff like that, you know. I mean, I haven't seen really like any other stadium that could really hurt this deck. I mean, well, Black Market Prism, but I mean that affects your opponent, you know. But yeah. But as far as that, you know, this card is just... Alright. 2 copies of Pokemon Communication. Pokemon Communication will help you find your Turtonator, not your Turtonators. Yeah, well, actually help you find Turtonator if you need Turtonator to help you get a knockout. This can also help you find your Volcanion early on if you don't have out your Volcanion, you know, because you want to get your Volcanion out, you want to attach that energy, you want to go second, you want to use that attack. This can help you find that if you get yourself in a little bind in the early game. You know, so, you know, because you don't have any way to search out non-GX Pokemon. And this is your way to do it. You know, also, this can also be searched out by Green's Exploration. We have ourselves 2 copies of Reset Stamp. Reset Stamp is going to be a very good card in the Unified Minds format, in the Worlds format. Basically what it says is that you shuffle your opponent's hand into their deck and they draw equal to the number of prizes they have. They draw cards equal to the number of prizes they have. So basically what you want to do is you want to play this mid to late game when they've knocked out a tag team or something. Oh, I'll play Reset Stamp. I'll make you shuffle your hand and draw 3 cards. Now you're at 3 cards. You know, if you don't have some type of engine or draw support or something to help you draw, you know, you're going to be in a really bad situation, you know, where that you cannot get out of. You know, you're going to be set back. And this card is going to set back a lot of people, especially when they get ahead, like, oh, now I'm set back. You know, this could give you a chance to come back, a chance to win. This card is so good. And it's really good in here because, again, Green's Exploration can search this out. I cannot stress this enough. This is why this deck is going to be so good. You know, if this deck, you know, has more prizes than your opponent, and then you play this, it's just so good. It's just so good. Even if you have low prizes, even if you have 2-to-1 prizes and your opponent, let's say the game is even. Let's say you have 2 prizes, your opponent has 2 prizes or 1 prize. You can reset stamp them. It doesn't matter how many prizes you have. You know what I'm saying? You know, you could just, oh, I'll reset stamp you. I'm at 1 prize, I'll reset stamp you, and then I can take the game because you basically won't have anything. You know. It is so good. It is so good. Oh yeah, and Green's Exploration can search this out. Two copies of Power Plant. Power Plant is going to be so powerful going forward in this Unified Minds format because you're going to have Pokemon with abilities that are going to give your opponents an advantage. Zero Aura GX with its Thunderclap Zone. You'll have Jirachi GX giving Psychic Pokemon no weakness. Dedenne GX, when they play it, you discard your hand, draw 6 cards. So many Pokemon that Pokemon GXs that have abilities that get their advantages will not have their advantages. This takes them away. This is going to be so powerful. And right now, I'm actually glad I put these in here because this could basically stop them in their tracks. This could give you some time to get things rolling, to get things set up. You know, this is so good. And right now, 2 is a good number. I may even go 3, you know. But right now, 2 is a solid number for Power Plant. Oh, Green's Exploration can search this out. Heat Factory Prism Star. Basically, this is like a mini Salazzle. You discard a fire energy to draw 3 cards. You know, this is very good. Very good draw power for this deck. Discarding fire energies is not a bad thing in this deck. You have Fire Crystal to get your fire energies back. So there's that. This is just so good. Like you have like a little draw engine within the deck that you can, you know, use. Oh, also, Green's Exploration can search this out. Alright. We have ourselves $13. I'm messing that up. Doesn't even matter. 13 fire energies. 13 fire energies. Alright. For your Pokemon. Which is very good. Also, another card that I want to talk about. Where is it at? Where is it if I can find it? Might be in here. Let's see. But I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Palpad. I was thinking about including a Palpad in this deck. just for the simple fact to shuffle back in Welders. You know, depending on how long the game goes, you could basically run out of energies and powering up your Pokemon. But Palpad would be very good in getting back your Welders or even Green Searches and putting them back in and help powering up your Pokemon. Because after you use 4 Welders, if you go for 4 turns, use 4 Welders, your Welders are gone. So you have no other way of attaching energies to your Pokemon. You know, so that is a big risk. That's why I say Palpad would kind of be welcome in here. Also, another reason why I say Palpad would be kind of like a 61 card is because you have Pokegear 2.0 in here. With Pokegear 2.0, you can sit there and go Palpad. Let's say maybe late game you go Palpad. If your deck is pretty short, pretty low, you go Palpad, put 2 Welders in, go Pokegear 2.0, look at the top 7, see, but now that your deck is kind of low, you know, it basically gives you a better odds of finding the Welder you just put in with Palpad. So you go Pokegear 2.0, get the Welder, and then you can play the Welder. So that's why I was thinking Palpad could be like another tech card that could go in here. That wouldn't be bad. Yeah. But that is the deck, ladies and gentlemen. Back up here. There we go. That is the deck. If you like it, or if you want to discuss about the deck choices, things like that, things about Unified Minds, you know, like, comment, subscribe. And as always, make sure you take care of yourself and each other. Thank you.